Now, in fact, well, in the same thing we have got in the next sentence, can link man's strength to a transcendent force. Then miracle is made the common rule. Once you are able to synthesize, then the Gita's yoga is fulfilled. You have acquired the siddhi of the Gita's yoga. The fruit of Gita's yoga is earned, you see. And one mighty deed can change the course of things. A lonely thought becomes omnipotent. Now that is where Savitri has arrived here. But then she has something else to do in the context of the redemption of this world, in the context of this redemption of the world. And it is there now Narada is specifically telling what Savitri has to do. The world itself becomes his adversary. Well, now this is sort of okay. This is understood. You see, the entire the whole burden is in this line. The rest is kind of okay. You see, I mean, simple, straightforward. You see, the world itself becomes his adversary. This is exactly what happened in the case of Christ. It happened in the case of all the great people. You see, his enemies are the beings he came to save. Those he would save are his antagonists. He is elaborating now. See, Narada. This world is in love with its own ignorance. Well, that is our tragedy, you see. We are fond of our ignorance, we are fond of our misery, we are fond of our difficulties. We love them as if we feel unhappy if there are no difficulties, you see. This world is in love with its own ignorance. Its darkness turns away from the Savior light. It gives the cross in payment for the crown. Now there is a specific reference to Christ again here, but that's what happens to him. Cross in payment for the crown. So crown with thorns and all that is good. His work is a trickle splendor in a long night. So the word redeemer comes, and little by little, when the avatar comes, it keeps on adding small by bit by bit, bit by bit. In a long night, of course, this is what happens now. The night of inconscience turning into night of ignorance. He sees the long march of time, the little one. A few were saved, the rest strive on and fail. So, those who are baptized, they are saved. The others are left out, you see. This is what it means basically. Baptized in a metaphorical sense, I mean. If you were saved, the rest strive on and fail. A sun has passed on earth, night's shadow falls. A sun has passed on earth, night's shadow falls. Now, this is a very vivid description. At the time of Christ, when he left his body, suddenly there was a darkness at the midday. At noon time, there was a darkness, you see. Suddenly, see. Sun has passed. On earth, night's shadow falls. Now, see, this is again little interesting in the sense that the crucifixion, Christ giving up his body, soul, releasing from the body, coming out. He gave up the ghost, like the Bible says, gave up the ghost. It happened at noon. And then there was a sudden darkness. The temple split into two, and then there was darkness all around, you see, darkness at noon. This is exactly also the hour when Satyavan died, at noon. At noon, you see. He also died at noon, you see. A sun has passed on earth's shadow falls. The death of Satyavan takes place at noon. This was the day when Satyavan was died. It happens at noon. Not day, but also the moment it speaks, you see. Yes, by the way, I mean, A sun has passed on earth, night's shadow falls. In the context of the epics, as I said, this applies to the two Satyavan. Biblically, it of course goes with first Christ. But Sri Aurobindo's withdrawal was in the midnight. It was not at noon. It was not at noon. He has withdrawn past. On earth's night, the shadow does not fall. But there is sudden brightening of light in the room there. His whole body gets charged with supramental light and force and remains intact there. It is not that, you see. It happens in the midnight, 1:25 a.m., 5th December. So you can see the context of the description also. I mean, in terms of epics, Satyavan is going to die at noon. The death of Christ occurs at that time, all that thing. A sun has passed on earth, night's shadow falls. Yes, there are happy ways near to God's sun, but few are they who tread the sunlit path, Only the pure in soul can walk in light. But few are they who tread the sunlit path. This is the famous phrase, sunlit path, you see, the sunlit path. Now, what is the sunlit path? He has defined the sunlit path. He has defined the sunlit. The sunlit path is those who are pure in soul. They only can walk on this sunlit path. They only can walk on this sunlit path. Those who are pure in soul. That is the sunlit path. The definition of the sunlit path is given in the next line. Pure in soul. They alone can walk the sunlit path. Pure. The purity comes in two ways. In a certain sense, at a deeper sense, in one way only. When your psychic being comes out, then there is the true purity in it. When the psychic is open, has come forward, you are guided at every moment by the psychic being, then you are really on a sunlit path. Then you are really on the sunlit path. You get whatever necessary help, guidance, direction is required straight from the psychic being. So the mother's entire emphasis has always been to bring out your psychic being and make it, or whatever you want to call it, the leader of your life, the guide of your life. That is the sunlit path, opening yourself fully to the psychic being. Now that is the mother's sunlit path. The sunlit path of the tapasvin, or the yogi, or the ancient spiritual giant sages was by spiritual tapasya. You kindle the flame within you, Agni. You kindle the flame and let that Agni, kindle Agni, fill whole of your being. And then you are led by Agni himself, by the mystic fire on the spiritual path. That is the sunlit path of the ancient spiritual seekers, of the sages, of the rishis. And that is what they did. Tapasya was that, you see. In fact, in the Vedam, Agni is also described as the purifier. Agni Pavaka. The name given to Agni as the purifier is Agni Pavaka. He is the one who purifies all the dross, all that is dirty, ugly, which is holding you back. It is He who purifies, and therefore you offer yourself constantly to Agni, into the fire, and let it burn off, get away. So that is the sunlit path of the spiritual seeker. The spiritual seeker. So it is a more harsh path, more difficult path than the psychic being coming directly out and taking charge of your life and your activities of your spiritual progress. You hand over yourself to the psychic being, you will take it. But that's not easy, you see. So that is the sunlit path. But I think still, essentially, in a deeper sense, both of them amount to the same. Bringing out the psychic being or kindling the Agni within you, the fire in you. Psychic being itself is Agni, is the fire. That itself is. So once you have got that path, then an exit is shown, a road of hard escape from the sorrow, the darkness, and the chain. Once you are psychic being coming forward, then there is no sorrow, there is no darkness. But how shall a few escape, release the world? Yes, that is the entire thrust of Narad's argument. Yes, your psychic mind has come out, you have found a sunlit path, you are walking on that thing, but what happens to the entire creation? It is left behind. But how shall a few escape, release the world, release the world? The whole context is again on the same thing. World Redeemer. The whole context is once more on the world Redeemer, you see. The human mass lingers beneath the yoke, and there what Savitri has come to do. Escape, however high, redeems not life, life that is left behind on fallen earth. Escape cannot uplift the abundant race or bring to it victory and the reign of God. Well, he is telling you the summary of the second chapter from the Life Divine, the ascetic and the materialist, you see, of this thing, basically. Escape, however high, redeems not life, life that is left behind on a fallen earth. Escape cannot uplift the abandoned race or bring to it victory and the reign of God. A greater power must come, a larger light. Now that is the entire thing. In fact, in this sentence, he has really pinned down the mission of the world Redeemer, of Savitri, of the new avatar, of the new yoga, of the new yoga. The ancient yoga, yes, done. Now the new yoga has to begin with Savitri. This is what happens. Gita says, I have given this ancient yoga. Although light grows on earth and night recedes, yes, every avatar who has come, every vibhuti who has come, they have made this world progress to some extent. Light definitely grows and night becomes less and less. Ignorance becomes less and less. Yet till the evil is slain in its own home and light invades towards inconscient base and perished had the adversary foes, he still must labor on, his work half done. His work half done. That is the whole problem now here. So, half done. What is the other half remaining? Escape, etc., etc., you are guided. That is half of the work done. In other words, this ancient yoga is a yoga which has accomplished half of the work. Half of the work. That is only half of the work, you see. Yet, one yet may come armored, invincible, because he has to come in the context of the adversary force, and the adversary force has to disappear. Has to disappear. He must come, he must be invincible, he should be fully armored also. He is well immobile, means the mobile are the world's blows cannot bend that victor head. Calm and sure are his steps in the growing night. The gold sits, he hurries not his pace, he turns not to high voices in the night. Well, I mean, he is now elaborating the kind of thing which Savitri has to do here. Of course, he stands here for the world Redeemer, but the context is Savitri. He asks no aid from the inferior gods. Obviously, he will not ask aid from the inferior gods because they are incapable of helping him. The inferior gods are incapable of helping him. Helping him in the context of the world's inconscient base and the adversary force. In the context of the world's inconscient base and the adversary force. In that context, these inferior gods are of no avail, are of no help at all. They will not be in a position to help you at all. You see. Now, what are these inferior gods? Well, as we have seen earlier also, there are gods everywhere. Now, these inferior gods would include even the overmind gods. Even the overmind gods, they would include inferior gods, would include even the overmind gods, because in the context of the adversary force which he is talking of, they are helpless. The overmind gods cannot help you at that point. In the context of, this is the important phrase, you see, we have seen that. Light in the world's inconscient base and adversary force. In the context of the inconscient base and the adversary force, even the overmind gods are helpless. And therefore, they would prove themselves to be, in that context, inferior gods. It is only the transcendental gods, the gods of Satchidananda world, who can really help you. They alone can help. In the context of the ancient adversary force, only the supramental gods will be able to help. But in order that the supramental gods come and help you, a few things are necessary here.
No, they don't come just like that.
They won't come of their own. They won't come. Why should they come? They are not here at all. Yeah. Because, you see, again it goes back to the very first line of Savitri. It was the hour before the gods awake. These gods awake, before the gods awake. Who are these gods? The transcendental gods. They are not yet awake. The transcendental gods are not yet awake. And therefore it is all night, adversary force and all that thing. And it is under those circumstances that Savitri has to come and do the work. It was the hour before the gods awake, across the path of the divine event. The divine manifestation has to take place. But across this path, who is standing? The mind of night. Mind of night is standing across this event. So, only when this mind of night is dislodged will the divine event be able to proceed further. The mind of night has to get dislodged, has to be removed. It has to go away from the road. Then only the divine event can progress. So, in other words, unless the mind of night is removed, the gods will not awake. It was the hour before the gods awake, because the mind of night is there, and therefore the gods are still not active, are not able to work here. They cannot come and work here in the night. There has to be a sufficient preparedness here. The mind of light has got to be established for those gods to come into operation here, to start work here. In fact, that is the whole basis of the opening line. It was the hour before the gods awake. It is all darkness. Night is there. The gods are not operative, are not able to function. They will start functioning the moment the mind of night is knocked off, is removed from the path. That is important. So these inferior gods will go all the way up to the overmind gods. They are not in a position, they are operating in the cosmic work, they are doing their work. Shiva, Krishna, all those things are there. Durga comes every year, she kills one asura, but it goes on. You see, year after year, you see, like that. It goes on constantly. They are not in a position to really come to that point where the ancient adversary force is perished, is destroyed. They cannot do that. That will happen only when the transcendental God, the supramental gods come down here. The supramental gods will not come down here until the mind of night is removed. Who is going to remove that mind of night? Savitri. That is her work. That mind of night, she has to remove that. He asks no aid from the inferior gods. His eyes are fixed on the immutable aim